Hello, and a very warm welcome to the English Story Nook. We are so glad you could join us for another story. Today, we're diving into a story about what happens when two very different worlds collide. Get ready to discover a tale about an ordinary woman whose routine life is suddenly interrupted by a mysterious visitor from another realm. A man who brings both magic and difficult choices into her world. Before we dive in, if you enjoy our stories and want to support what we do, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and consider buying us a coffee on Ko-fi. There's a link in the description below. Every like, subscription, and small contribution helps us keep creating great content for English learners like you. Let's get started. He's the future king. I'm his mistake. Antonia Deal's life was a repeating pattern of gray and beige. She worked as a data analyst for a dull company, lived in a small city apartment, and her most exciting weekly event was trying a new coffee shop. The city was supposed to be vibrant, a place of endless possibilities, but for Antonia, it felt like a cage made of concrete and routine. She was scrolling through her phone one rainy Tuesday evening when a strange sound, like the crackle of electricity, came from the alleyway behind her building. Curiosity won over caution, and she opened her back door to look. A man was lying on the wet ground, dressed in clothes that looked like they belonged in a historical film. He was handsome, with sharp features and an air of confusion. He looked completely out of place. "Are you okay?" Antonia asked, stepping closer. The man sat up, his eyes wide with disbelief as he looked at the neon signs and brick walls. "Where am I?" he asked, his voice deep and melodic. "You're in the city. Did you fall?" He shook his head. "I came through a doorway." He pointed to the empty space behind him. Antonia saw nothing but a brick wall. She decided he must be confused, perhaps unwell. Against her better judgment, she helped him up and brought him inside, away from the rain. His name was Aldher Juan Rahala, and he claimed to be the future king of a different realm. At first, Antonia didn't believe him, but over the next few days, his stories about a world powered by crystals and ancient magic started to sound less like fantasy and more like a strange reality. He explained that the portal to his realm had closed unexpectedly, leaving him stranded. He was intrigued by her world, by the internet, by cars, by the simple act of cooking pasta. He found the human world chaotic, but also wonderfully alive. Antonia, in turn, found herself captivated by him. His presence made her world feel less gray. In fact, it was becoming wonderfully vibrant. They spent a week together that felt like a lifetime. They explored the city, and Aldher saw everything with the eyes of a curious child. He was fascinated by a street musician, and he laughed with delight on the underground train. Antonia felt a connection with him that was so strong it felt inevitable. One evening, while sitting on her small balcony and looking at the city lights, he took her hand. "In my world," he said softly, "everything is planned. My life, my future, my marriage. But here, with you, I feel free." He leaned in and kissed her. It was a moment of pure magic, more real than any story he had told her. For the first time, Aldher began to contemplate the idea of not going back. Their perfect bubble burst when a woman appeared in Antonia's living room. She was tall, elegant, and radiated an aura of cold power. "Altair," she said, her voice sharp. "It is time to come home." This was Nuria Boteng, his betrothed. She looked at Antonia with disdain. "The kingdom is in chaos. Your father is ill. You have been wasting your time in this primitive world with her." Altair's face was pale. The weight of his duty returned all at once. He looked at Antonia, his eyes filled with regret. "She is right. I have to go back. The portal is open, but only for a short time." Antonia's heart broke. "What about us?" she whispered. "This was a mistake," he said, but he wasn't looking at her. He was looking at Nuria. "I should never have stayed." He turned and walked away, leaving Antonia alone in her suddenly silent apartment. The vibrant colors he had brought into her life faded back to gray. The weeks that followed were worse than before. The memory of Altair made her routine feel unbearable. She felt like his mistake, a temporary distraction from his real life. She tried to forget him, but it was impossible. One night, she was cleaning her apartment and found a small, smooth stone he had left behind. As she held it, it began to grow warm and glow with a soft light. She heard his voice, faint at first, then clearer. "Antonia," he sounded desperate. "I was wrong. Leaving you was the mistake, not meeting you. I refused to marry Nuria. I told my father our traditions must change. Now there is conflict. I have to fight for a new future for my realm." He paused, and his next words were full of hope. "I can't do it alone. I am intrigued by the strength I saw in your world, in you." Antonia held the glowing stone, her heart pounding. He wasn't a king who needed a queen. He was a man asking for a partner. He wanted her to stand with him. The choice was terrifying, but the thought of staying in her gray world was worse. The idea of a future with him, no matter how dangerous, felt inevitable. She had to contemplate her decision for only a moment. "How do I get to you?" she whispered to the stone. The light from the stone grew brighter, projecting a shimmering doorway onto her wall. It looked just like the one Altair had described. Taking a deep breath, Antonia Adil stepped through, leaving her old life behind to fight for a new one. That's the end of our story for today. It was quite a journey of choices and destiny. We have a question for you. If you had to make a choice between a safe, predictable life and a new, exciting but dangerous one, what would you choose? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check the description for the free PDF of the story to help you practice even more. Thank you for joining us at the English Story Nook. Keep up the amazing work with your English studies, and we can't wait to see you in the next video. Happy learning and goodbye for now.